As of yesterday, Trump is at the G7. He is going and talking with many leaders, including Macron, the Qatari leader, UAE, and he's making the rounds right now, causing a stir. While he's doing that, JD Vance is out on the trail talking about the Iran deal, giving us the latest updates. He is actually on The View right now as I speak, or he just ended, which I cannot wait to see more clips from that. But regardless, Jesse Waters, who I tell you guys all the time, Fox, you can't completely trust Fox. It's run by the Murdochs. They hate Trump. But I will tell you this. Because they know their audience, they are more likely to get things accurate about Trump than other stations. And Jesse Waters is one of the best. Here is the latest, what Jesse had from last night on the Iran deal.
I've been briefed on the deal, and it's pretty simple. You immediately upon signing, the Strait opens up, and there's no tolling, and there's no money exchanged. And you're going to get traffic probably restored within the next 2 to 3 weeks. What really made a difference were the airstrikes Monday and Tuesday, and Operation Freedom was covertly bringing oil out. So the Iranians lost all their leverage over the Strait. But the most significant part of the deal is that the Iranians have signed, in principle, to agree for the complete destruction and removal of the uranium. Right now, they can't get it. They have no access to it. It's buried a skyscraper's length deep underground. All 3 sites are inaccessible. And the United States is the only country with the technical expertise to be able to remove it. So we're going to remove it along with the IAEA, and we're going to destroy it, and we're going to bring it out of the country.
Interesting. This is something that has been criticized, and everybody's saying Trump can't do it. You know, he did not do this. He didn't make the deal with the uranium. He didn't make the deal with the nuclear. He's giving it all up. This is the propaganda that's being pushed out there, especially from Iranian media, which is funny that we choose to trust them over our own sources. But Jesse here says he's actually been briefed by the White House, and China and America are the only ones who have the machinery to go in and get that uranium. And apparently it's part of the deal. Now, the details of that deal, we haven't seen the actual pages yet, but we'll get to that in a minute. But here's some more from what Jesse's got.
And then and only then will there be sanctions relief. Also, they're not going to get any sanctions relief if they continue to fund terrorism. If Hezbollah attacks the Jews have a right to defend themselves, but they will not be getting any sanctions relief. So they have to keep Hezbollah on a leash. And we will maintain our military posture until they give up the dust. That is the deal. And all the details of the MOU are going to be released on Friday after the signing. And the bigger thing in terms of like a regional peace deal, all of these Gulf nations have agreed to invest $300 billion to rebuild the energy infrastructure.
Oh, there it is. Now that's the big number that's been going around. Marjorie Taylor Greene was out there. I can't believe we're giving them money. Mark Levin freaking out. Again, like I said, both sides are mad. You got the Mark Levin neocons are mad because we didn't blow them off the face of the earth. You got the MAGA, the fake MAGA fagatards like Marjorie Taylor Greene. They're all mad because Trump proved he's not controlled by Israel, and they don't know what to do with this. They needed this to be a forever war so they could keep attacking him. So they got to be mad. You have the liberals mad because they're always mad at anything Trump does that's good. Even if it's great for them and great for America, they hate it. So everybody who should be mad is mad. And this is exactly what, I mean, Jesse's breaking it down perfectly. This, again, every part of this deal, as Jesse's reporting right here, sounds amazing. It's about the best case scenario.
Infrastructure of Iran, because they've lost $1 trillion through the bombing and the blockade. And that's big because you're going to economically integrate the region. And when you have investments and Iran is investable, you're not going to bomb each other. And it's a lot different already, as you said, from the Iran deal. We have Gulf allies invested. We have no sunset clause. We have the complete elimination of the uranium, so there is no enrichment. All of their leaders have been killed. 80% of the military has been decimated. And you're not going to have bribes. You're going to have them perform, and then they can get paid. And if this is done, which is going to be negotiated up front within the first 30 days after the signing Friday, this could be the crowning achievement of the Trump administration. This is
Boom. There it is right there. If this goes the way they say it should or could, Jesse reports here, and this is a big deal because this is mainstream media. Fox News is mainstream media, like it or not. They reporting now that this could be the crowning jewel of the Trump era. What a flip! What a flip from, oh, we went into forever wars. Trump promised no new wars. Iran, he's betrayed us. He's betrayed his base. And just like we've been saying from the beginning, listen, if you've been watching this show, you knew since March, we were saying this could be the keystone, the key to unlocking the greatest breakthrough for America in decades, because due to the ties to the City of London, the proxy state, the destabilization of the Middle East, the control of oil prices. Once all that's broken, my goodness, let the oil flow. Let peace come. Let investment flow. Let's get intertwined in different economies. This changes everything. See, this foreign policy is economic policy as well. And because of everything it's accomplishing all at once, forcing China to now buy oil from us, making them more dependent on us, giving us leverage over them. We now have leverage over everybody much more because of this. This is incredible. And even Jesse is now forced to say it. You know, Jesse likes Trump from what I can gather. But still, on mainstream media to hear something like this is huge. Happening the same day as that UFC event, guys. America is back, and it's starting to. This momentum is going to keep building and make us proud, man. Proud to be American. So Trump posted this yesterday. Iran has agreed to never have a nuclear weapon. Also, a story U.S. is paying Iran $300 million is fake news put out by the Democrats. Always love that. And again, J.D. Vance, see why Trump's at the G7. He's commissioned JD to be going out and communicating about this, which I think is actually pretty huge. You know, a lot of people, I've heard this, a lot of people are freaking out that Rubio's not out there because the pro-Rubio wing, the people who are very amped about Rubio and don't trust Vance, they all thought like Rubio was going to be the guy from here on out. That Vance was being pushed to the side. Well, I got to tell you, now that this peace deal's done, instead of our president being out there, instead of our Secretary of State being out there, he's got the vice president making the rounds. This, my friends, is, I mean, however you slice it, it's a clear test and opportunity for JD to prove himself as looking and sounding presidential, and to make the case to the American people about the Iran deal, which will bolster him for 2028. It's very interesting they didn't choose Rubio to do this. But regardless, let's listen to JD take on the infamous Jake Tapper.
Their enriched stockpile of fuel is buried far below the earth. And we really have a two-way pathway to ensure the Iranians don't ever rebuild that capacity. On the one hand, if they try to rebuild it, they're never going to get the financial resources that they would need to rebuild a billions of dollars worth of nuclear program. On the other hand, if they're willing to commit to verifiable milestones and to make sure that we feel confident they're not going to rebuild that program, we're going to totally transform our relationship with Iran and Iran's relationship with the broader Middle East. So either way, the United States wins. Either way, we ensure Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. But we really prefer that they choose the option where there's greater economic cooperation and where they behave like a normal country and are treated like one as well.
Do you hear what he said? And I think this is important. Either way, we win. That to me is signal right there that they just are in full control of this whole situation. They have all the leverage. As Trump would say, we have all the cards, all the cards. Yep. So JD's out there. He's putting it out there. The guy is good on the tube. You can't deny it. He's so well spoken. He breaks stuff down so well. But this is what people need to hear. These are CNN viewers now, hearing that there's no way that the U.S. loses. Now they'll believe what they want to believe, but the fact is, like, JD's not out there sounding brash, arrogant, crazy. He sounds very much in control, and this is the kind of thing we need messaged out there. And Jake Tapper, well, Jake Tapper will tap. But JD also went on Glenn Beck, and I think he had some really good stuff to say here with Beck, because, you know, Beck is one of those who there's a lot about Beck I like, but he does tend to lean a little neocon-y at sometimes, especially whenever it involves Israel. And so Beck has his own doubts about the deal, and JD went on Beck. By the way, since between yesterday and today, we've had JD on Morning Show, Good Morning America, I should say, CNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS, Glenn Beck, and CNN. The guy's making the rounds. This is a commission. This was JD. You get to be the guy, which is saying a lot. Again, I already said that, but I just want to reiterate that with all the different places he's been. But now here he is on Glenn. He's hitting all the different audiences. And by the way, yeah, he's on The View right now.
We have now apparently electronically signed a peace deal. We don't know what is in it yet. You've come out and said, you know, some of the things are wrong that are being said. How do you negotiate with an apocalyptic end times 12er regime? And what makes you confident that we can, as the president has said on the outset, get no support for proxies, end of the missile program, and no nukes? Do we have those? And how do you lock them in with, I'll be honest, crazy people that think they're living in the end times?
Let me say a few things about this. First of all, Glenn, you know, the president one of the most important lessons that he's given me in international negotiation or anything is you don't trust anybody. I don't trust the words. I don't trust the commitments, though they have committed to stop funding terrorism and to stop, you know, building or buying a nuclear weapon. Those commitments are there, but I trust people's actions. And so
that's very important. What he just did is he disrupted this whole argument about Iran. Like, you can't trust them. How can we trust the deal? It's BS. Obama's deal was better, which is always the same stupid logic, right? How could you trust them under the Obama deal if you can't trust them now? It's ridiculous. But it's very smart of Vance to say what he just did. And you notice how he said it. He said, the president taught me, which really gives Trump a whole lot of, it makes Trump sound really good. The fact that Trump is clearly, because he taught Vance, not trusting of this Iranian regime. And so they're putting it out there like this is a direct answer to the critics. Who said we trust them? But what we do trust is the actions. Why? Because we have all the leverage. And that's an important and great answer right there.
So the way that we set up that deal, given the president's directives, is if they perform the things that they say they're going to perform, then they get a lot of relief. And if they don't perform any of those things, then they get nothing. And for the United States, either way, Glenn, we're in a great position. They don't get 1 cent of American money regardless of how this deal takes place. They don't get any sanctions relief unless they perform. But we got the Straits of Hormuz open. Oil is now down below $80 today. We have their military still destroyed, their defense industrial base still destroyed, their nuclear program still destroyed. And now the president's saying, you know what, if you want to behave like a normal country, we're going to treat you like a normal country. And if not, the United States still has all the cards, and there's no skin off our back for entering into this negotiation.
And no support for proxies, end of the missile program, and no nukes for sure.
Correct, Glenn. And if they don't do that, then they don't get any of the benefits of the bargain.
That sounds pretty perfect. I can't lie. By the way, oil is about to plummet below 75. So it's moving very fast as this deal progresses. Now, speaking of those that the haters right now, this is interesting to me because as he's making the rounds, here he is on Good Morning America again with Georgie, but Lindsey Graham. Now, we've said many times, like, here we are, we're MAGA people. We don't like Lindsey Graham, but the smart people recognize why Trump supports him because Lindsey always falls in line. But Lindsey is a hardcore neocon. We know this, and amidst other stuff. Lindsey Graham, no bueno. We don't want Lindsey Graham, but if he's helping us win, then he's the guy for now. We don't want to trust the grifter types, what they're picking out. They're like the Mark Lynch that just got obliterated. So Lindsey continues to win. But here is a perfect example of, even though they supported Lindsey in his re-election campaign, Trump endorsed him, that they're willing to call him out when they speak out. And Lindsey, by the way, posted quickly after this, but I want you to hear as they both go, well, Vance and then Trump, I'm going to show you, go after Lindsey by name.
There do seem to be some significant differences between what we're seeing in the Iranian media. They say they're going to be seeing release of assets as the agreement is signed. They're not going to sign the agreement unless those assets are released. Is that true?
No, George, it's not true. And I'd caution Lindsey Graham and anybody else not to believe the hardliner propaganda in Iran, but to believe.
He just made Lindsey Graham look stupid, by the way. See, they don't care. It's like they're not beholden to these people. Okay, we helped Lindsey get elected again, but I'd caution him. Don't believe the Iranians, because basically you're a moron if you do. I love it. I love this stuff because this is the kind of thing that shows the administration constantly just bucking the trends of what they're accused of. All right. And it's like, oh, you're in it with the neocons. No, we just call them out. Oh, you're in it with Israel. No, I just told, Bibi to F himself. Like, none of the narratives ever stick because this administration is the real deal. And everybody keeps trying to want to put them into a box and get you to believe a narrative about what this administration is doing that's evil or wrong, or they're associated with the wrong people. And they just keep proving otherwise. As JD just called him out, here's Trump finding out about Lindsey being skeptical.
Mr. President, what do you say to Republicans like Senator Lindsey Graham, who is skeptical of the MOU?
Lindsey is skeptical?
Yes.
I'll have to talk to Lindsey. He'll be in big trouble. Lindsey's good. Lindsey's fine. He's not skeptical. He's just fine. Look, this agreement covers something very nicely. We're not paying for anything. We're not doing anything. The markets now are higher than they were when we started. Remember that. The stock market now is 2,500, maybe even more than that, points higher than it was when we said it's pretty.
Let's go back to the beginning real quick. Listen exactly how he covered this. This is hilarious. It kind of tells you who's daddy in this relationship.
Yeah. President, what do you say to Republicans like Senator Lindsey Graham, who is skeptical of the MOU?
Lindsey is skeptical?
Yes.
Trump he's so surprised. You can see he's kind of like, really, Lindsey, you're going to speak out against me?
I'll have to talk to Lindsey. He'll be in big trouble.
I love it, man. He'll be in big trouble. I'm going to talk to him. And then, of course, Lindsey Graham posts today, falling in line. So, it tells you all you need to know. So with all this going on, the Trump team is just winning like crazy because the latest narrative that's been coming out is, as all this gets settled, it's still too late. Trump stayed in too long. Too late. 5 months to go until the midterms. It's too late to turn around. Well, as usual, the doomers' predictions are always wrong. Oil will take a while to get going again. LNG will take a while to get going again. Well, instead, Qatar comes out today and 50% of its natural gas will be up in just 4 weeks and 80% in 2 months. This is much faster than they all predicted it would happen. So this is going to go down really fast. And oil is the same thing. So, but Trump, going back to the uranium, here's Trump. And now remember, everybody is waiting on this because uranium won. This is the real reason we all believe Trump wants to get the uranium. And again, as part of the deal, Trump reiterates, we don't have anything to worry about with the uranium.
A plan for the enriched uranium that is in the mountains?
Yeah, we do. We'll take it.
Has Iran said they would welcome the U.S. coming in? How specific?
Iran will be just fine. What's happening is that at an appropriate time, there's no rush at all. We have cameras from space on it. We know everybody that goes there, which is like nobody. The B-2 bombers hit it. The entire mountain collapsed inside it. It's a very tough excavation. Nobody else can do it but us and probably China. They have the equipment. We have the equipment. We're in no rush, but we get it, and when we get it, we'll destroy it.
Okay, Is that part
We're
of
not looking to take it. We're looking to destroy it. We have plenty.
the plan?
It's so interesting to me that, he keeps saying we're getting it to destroy it, but there's a reason he wants it on top of that. Just like in a post he made about a month ago where he said, we'll bring the uranium home. That was the tell right there. But Trump, as always, shows no hurry. I think the birthday deal should have been a wake-up call to a lot of people, because the fact that this all led perfectly to end up on his birthday, on Flag Day, when we also had the UFC event, that should prove to everybody that they are in control of the situation. I don't know how else to put it. They didn't scramble. There's no impatience. If anything, we could make the case that maybe there wasn't a whole back and forth game the whole time. Maybe Trump was purposely pushing it off. I don't know. That would be crazy if true. But at this point, the way it all lines up, there's either they are in control of this and organizing it all, or there's just something divine behind it all. And maybe it's a little bit of both. But the point is the timing is just insane. And Trump never seems to be in a hurry. And then it just keeps working out this way. So at some point you have to say either the man is the luckiest man alive, or, maybe of all time, or this is all according to plan. Now, Tom Luongo wrote this excellent post, which I think it just really frames things well. He says, at the beginning of the war, I asked a simple question. If you had to pay an extra $1 to $2 a gallon for gas for the few months to ensure you would never be threatened with a nuke from Iran again, would you put that extra money on your credit card? Before you answer, the average family that amounts to $100 to $200 per month for 4 months, so $400 to $800 for the peace dividend that you would never have to pay the indirect tolls of that threat for the rest of your life and your children's lives. Sit with that. Sit with thinking through all the costs associated with what Iran's conflict with the rest of the world were. Now add their people's welfare to the global economy rather than they're extracting a few $100 billion a year to fund terror, drugs, child trafficking, organized crime, etc. Think about who their real partners were. Think about which countries were their partners and fellow travelers. Those that turned a blind eye for the banking fees or paid someone else the increased insurance which ended up on your monthly budget. In other words, all of this stuff that's been intertwined, this entire financial globalist system, Iran, what they've been dipping their toes in, the effect they've had on us, it all affected us in ways we don't even know yet. We're going to find out over the next couple of years as this all settles down and the new systems go into place, how much more that'll affect us. Lower prices, higher wages, who knows? Those that once you've begun to get your head around that, realize you're probably only mapping out 10% of the real costs. My original question is exactly what just happened. In the process, we watch countries flip allegiances, come together to defend themselves, and others show you the limit of what they're willing to turn a blind eye to. Trump's brand of foreign policy rankles a lot of people. It destroys the carefully constructed mind palaces of others and exposes the grift of all of them. When this period's over, it'll be a new reality. It may even be a significantly better one. That'll be up to us to accept that sometimes you have to punch the bully in the mouth to get him to shut up. By Labor Day, oil prices in the U.S. will be back to where they were before the war, except in California, who's been working with our enemies to shut refineries and collapse its economy. That will be a mess. It will be over for normal folks. For those that see things clearly, this thing was over months ago. Just as we've been saying on the show, this was a win from the beginning. And Tom just knocks it out of the park here, because everything Trump's doing is to fix things that we didn't even know we had issues with. And that's kind of the biggest, the biggest aspect of a great leader, that they will come and deal with things that we don't want to deal with or expose things that we didn't understand so that our future could be better. And Iran's a major part of this. And if we move forward, remember, coming into this, we had three big bads in the world that we knew of, that we were raised to believe in anyways. That's Russia, which was Soviet Union, and now Russia, and they act like it's the same thing, but that's what we were told. China, which we were even starting to be led to believe that China was about to overtake us by 2030, 2035. They'd be bigger and crazier and stronger than us. And then Iran. Iran was the one that you just couldn't mess with. They were, you could not go in there. They were too cordoned off. They were too dangerous. If you mess with Iran, it destabilizes the whole world. It starts World War III. Russia and China will rush in. And Trump has just destroyed all of that. We are making alliance with Russia. China is becoming more dependent on us as their economy craters. It's going backwards from us as we accelerate forward. Now, it would take them, people were saying it'd be 2030, 2035 when China's economy overtook us. Now, at the earliest, if they paused right now and started accelerating past us, it would still be 40, 50 years before they could pass us. And it's just not going to happen because we're growing too much. In other words, none of us in our lifetimes will ever see China surpass us. We've proven that their militaries are jokes. We, at least compared to ours, it was Russian and Chinese weapons in Venezuela and in Iran that they were using for their defenses. And we plowed right through them. Iran had 2 months of a ceasefire plus the first month of escalation where they sent missiles after us and drones after us time and time again, hundreds of them, and none of them hit. We intercepted nearly every single one of them, over 99% of them. And the ones that did land didn't hurt anybody, except for the initial people in the very beginning when we lost 13 servicemen. God bless them. But we just took out the number 3 big bad in the world, completely forced them into submission with 13 lost service members. And we did in just 100 days, 107 days. Unbelievable. The entire world order has been completely shifted by what Trump has done since January this year, Venezuela and then Iran. The entire world order is completely different. Europe is weaker than it's ever been. The Europe that was taking advantage of us, using us as their military as we've completely funded and backed NATO, using us, taking advantage of our free trade policies so that they could build up their side of things while killing our middle class. That Europe didn't show up for this fight when they would show up for every other war for 100 years with us. They didn't show up for this one. It tells you all you need to know. People can't unsee this anymore. Everything's different because of Iran. Trump was the only one with the guts to do it. It's incredible stuff. And thank God for him because he's still hilarious too. Just Trump on the Iran deal real quick. It just made me laugh.
Democrats, because they're dumb people. The Democrats are, well, what I'd like to do is send it to Congress saying you shouldn't approve it, and I'll get it approved. Because they do, whatever I say, they want to do the opposite.
Let's talk about the Iran.
It's not working too well for them, by the way. But yeah, I never thought about sending it, never even thought about it, but I will. I will send it to Congress. I like the idea.
Send the deal to Congress. Tell them not to sign it and they'll sign it. The Democrats. Along with like what I just shared with Tom, by the way, here's another guy I really like his thinking. This is Cynical Publius, great account on X, former military guy who really likes to look at stuff from this 30,000 foot perspective. And I really liked his breakdown too, for a little more context. He says, I've largely been quiet on this matter lately, mostly because I don't think anyone in the general public has the first clue to what's actually going on in terms of negotiations. Let's offer some thoughts. The Iranian mullahs were implacable enemies of Western civilization and have a goal of global jihad. Neither the Iranian nor American media can be trusted to report accurately on the agreement. We all agree with this. MOU means Memorandum of Understanding. In corporate law, this is like a term sheet. It's an outline of basic terms, serves as a basis of negotiations. Nothing's definitive. The Trump admin could do a better job of keeping the American public informed on this matter. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I could understand why you'd say it. Iran's military and nuclear capabilities have been decimated. Iran's ability to export terrorism has been greatly impaired. Multiple layers of the mullah's leadership are dead, and those in power are acutely and uncomfortably aware of this. The only viable means of ultimate regime change is the Persian people rising up and overthrowing the mullahs. Iran with nuclear arms would be the worst threat to human civilization since the medieval era bubonic plague epidemic. The JCPOA was enabling them to build the weapons. President Trump had no choice but to take the military actions he's taken thus far because of the nuclear terror threats. America and Israel assumed the Persian people would take this opportunity to overthrow their theocratic dictators. Because the Persian people are thus far collectively unwilling to walk through the regime change, President Trump's faced with a dilemma: either commit ground forces or negotiate with whoever's in power. Trump's earned our trust in all matters. He consistently prioritized American interests, probably more so than any other president since Reagan. There's no one I trust more. America and the world are currently in a far, far better, safer situation than if no military action had been taken. All military options remain open to the USA. Virtually no military leaders remain open to the Iranian leadership. And then I love this right here. I've always despised Q nonsense. But at the moment, I believe the following words are actually the best course of action for Americans with respect to Iran. Trust the plan. Amen. This is clearly working out in our favor. And as oil prices plummet, as the peace settles, as Americans have time to look over this and be like, oh, that was 3 months. That kind of sucked. But wow, we didn't really lose anybody. Wow, the world's getting better. This is going to be such a massive win. As Jesse Waters said at the beginning, it could be one of those wins that becomes the cornerstone, one of the great achievements of Trump's entire term, if not the greatest. Now, I don't think Jesse understands all the reasons why I agree with him, but I definitely do. So with all this happening, people starting to wake up to how good a thing this was, how much we accomplished. Trump is shifting into something else. And this is interesting. We gotta talk about this. Trump is now calling out some of what Israel's been doing. Now, I know in my crowd here, I have Israel supporters and I have Israel haters. And I got to tell you, I'm always in the middle. Israel is a country doing what's best for them most of the time. They have strong City of London ties, especially through MI6 and Mossad, the connections there. And they do stuff that's sometimes not the best for us. But at the same time, it makes sense for us to be an ally of them. All those things can be true at once. And Trump understands this better than anybody. It's why he infuriates the Zionists who believe Israel can do no wrong and Israel should be allowed to do whatever it wants. And he infuriates the people who hate Israel because they think Israel can do nothing right and that we should want Israel to be destroyed or taken away, and they stole from Palestine, all this nonsense. He infuriates both sides, and that's exactly where we want to be. But because of this, I believe Trump is actually the one calling true balls and strikes on Israel, and he's the person to trust most. But this is very interesting on how he calls them out in this segment.
What are the expectations for Israel? Can this deal survive if Israel attacks Lebanon?
It can, and I consider that the minor war. The Iran's a big one, but we have that little pinprick out there that constantly rears its head, and that's Hezbollah. And I was very responsible for Syria, and the man that's running Syria now is a person that I put there along with President Erdogan and some others. He's done an amazing job of pulling it together. He's not a Boy Scout, but he's done an amazing job of pulling it together. And he is very good with Hezbollah, does not like them. And I'll tell you what, Israel's fighting Hezbollah too long and too many people are being killed. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody, because there are a lot of people in those apartment houses, and they're not all Hezbollah, that I can tell you. And I suggested to Israel to let Syria take care of Hezbollah. Because to be honest with you, I think they do a better job of doing it.
That is fascinating for a few reasons here. Obviously, we've had a lot of issues with Syria over the years. And there were some terrible things we did in Syria, especially under Obama. But for Trump to say that, I think he's trying to give Israel an out, because he knows, and I mean, we've seen it. You can see the videos. Does Israel have the right to attack Hezbollah? Absolutely. Does Israel have a right to defend itself? 100%. Hezbollah is evil. Like, nobody's going to cry when Hezbollah gets blown up at all. But Israel sometimes is quick to pull that trigger, and they have killed innocents, and Trump actually basically just admitted that. You don't have to blow up an apartment complex full of people that might not even be Hezbollah every time they attack. That's a very interesting phrase from Trump. And I think what Trump's trying to do right now is give Israel an out and say, look, guys, I'm trying to protect you. because now with us pulling out of Iran, with Iran handled and America's doesn't have a big old threat to go into anymore, then the whole international community is going to be focused just on you and everything you do here. Figure it out, because I won't be able to protect you in the same way anymore, because with Iran handled, our interests won't be as aligned. Hezbollah is a threat to you. It's not to us. Doesn't mean we won't provide weapons, that sort of thing, but we're not getting involved. It won't be as close. And so Trump is trying, I think Trump's giving Bibi a heads up here. You have to figure out a better way. And it was very interesting to hear. And it also, again, proves 100% that Trump is not controlled by Israel. And what I've always contended is actually Trump is trying to help Israel get to a better place. And he's helping to break them free of City of London influence. What does City of London want? Always, forever wars. Keep the war machine going, because they benefit from oil fluctuations. They benefit from shipping insurance, that sort of thing going on around the Strait. They benefit. When you research the British and French connections in the Middle East, it's eye-opening. It's very eye-opening. It's like the Iranians, the Khomeinis, have billions of dollars of real estate in UK. That makes no sense, but it's true. It's a fact. IRGC does a lot of its shadow banking with City of London banks, EU banks. These are just facts. And Trump, again, right here, you can either keep it going or bad things are going to happen to Israel if we don't get smarter. And Trump, he had a little bit more to offer on this as well.
Are you frustrated with Netanyahu, sir?
No, we had a great relationship. We're talking about some end details. I didn't like that he did an attack based on there's a very minor little thing with some drones that were released, and he ends up doing I saw that attack. I saw where that bomb went. Did you see what happened? That was a vicious, that was too much. You can do too much also. But we've had a very effective relationship. Without us, without the United States, there would be no Israel. Without me, there would be no Israel, because no other president was willing to do what I did. I've had a great relationship with Bibi, but now Bibi has to be more responsible with respect to Lebanon. Lebanon used to be a great country. It was a country where you had professors, doctors, lawyers. The great intellect was in Lebanon. Now it's terrible. I would say of all countries, they've been treated the worst. And they can't defend themselves. And they have Hezbollah, which is a problem for them. So, no, I'm not happy with the way Israel has handled themselves with Lebanon and with Hezbollah. They should have been able to do the job faster. It just goes on forever. And when that happens, it throws a negative light on the big deal, and that's the deal with Iran.
You understand what Trump just said there? If you listen very carefully, you could hear it. He said they could handle this faster, but instead they're dealing it in a way that lasts forever. Guys, he just told you what the City of London system is, okay? And Trump constantly says this: if there wasn't me, there would be no Israel. Well, that makes perfect sense if you understand with Iran, the JCPOA from Obama giving Iran the ability, the pathway to make a nuclear weapon, knowing that Hillary Clinton, the Bidens, this global cabal, they wanted World War III. And one of the ways you start World War III, nuking Israel. You could get right into it. That would get the whole world going. Do I know that for a fact that's exactly what they do? No, I don't. But you can figure out through the language that Trump knows something really, really bad was going to happen to Israel. And what Trump has done is freed them. He's breaking them out of this, but he's also saying, you guys have to play the game too. And you have to play it from the right side. We have to get all the old ways of doing things have to go away. I'm showing you guys how to do it. Wake up. Israel is between, you could either say they are so beholden still to this whole City of London system, the whole keep the Middle East scurrying, constantly destabilize at war. You could say that maybe that's why, or you could say they're just so they're so PTSD'd from everything they've gone through that they just keep doing the same thing over and over again. I don't know which it is. Okay, I have my suspicions and I've communicated those. But the point is Trump is telling them, you can't keep doing it this way. I'm the one who got you this far. I'm the one who's beating your biggest enemy down, which is Iran. I'm the one who, if we pull all this off, Hezbollah will no longer be funded, which that threat will be gone from you. So can you guys just get in line and figure this out? That attack that Hezbollah launched on Israel, that's one that was responded to, it didn't hit anything. No one died from it. And Israel responded very, very, very intensely right on the day they were about to sign the Iran deal. So yeah, Trump's not happy about it. And as always, in all these matters, and this is like very important for the Israel people to understand here, Trump knows more than you do. You have to humble yourselves here. How much you love Israel or not, I honestly don't care. But you do have to understand that you don't have the whole picture. And don't think that Bibi or Israel or anything else is like that they somehow are perfect all the time. I get that they should be able to defend themselves. I agree. But Trump only calls them out when he's doing something bigger. And guess what? Every time Trump's done something, it's worked out better for Israel. So if you really love Israel, you should trust Trump. That's my point in that. And also, you know, if you hate Israel, you can hate Trump, but you also have to admit he's obviously not controlled by them. And I know that stings, but it's the truth. Now, here's one of the big things that's been going on in the community for a long time, which is this idea of saving Israel for last. And you know, I'm not saying I agree with everything in this, but I do think it's interesting. And I think it's worth a little quick breakdown here. Trump kept Netanyahu close because the relationship was tactical. Keep your friends close, enemies closer, stabilize the region, dismantle the proxy networks, lock Iran in containment, reposition Syria, isolate Hezbollah, then expose the leader still choosing destruction. If Bibi's bad. Again, didn't say I necessarily agree with this, but we have to be open to that fact, folks. Remember that when 2020 happened, the election in 2020, Bibi ran out and congratulated Biden within a couple days. It pissed Trump off. Why would Bibi rush to Biden like that? I don't know. It's just the kind of things you need to ask. That defines the final takedown template. Globalist leaders not removed in isolation. Their protection systems dismantled first. Their wars are ended. Their funding networks are traced. Their proxies are neutralized. By the way, we've seen all of this for the City of London. Their narratives collapse, allies step away, crime surface, receipts move upward through architecture. Trump's message was direct. Too many civilians killed. Apartment buildings can't be flattened every time Israel claims to be hunting a target. Syria can handle Hezbollah without Netanyahu expanding endless war. Justifications disappearing. Iran contained, Syria repositioned, Hezbollah isolated, regional peace architecture forming, Netanyahu separated from the shield that covered him. War crimes, crimes against humanity, civilian deaths, destroyed cities, decades of protective power that's bigger than Israel. I think we can all agree with this part. The final takedown is moving through the global control structure, one protected leader at a time, one network at a time. Watch it spread. Saving Israel for last meant removing every excuse first, nowhere left to hide, and that's the only beginning. Now, when he says this, I don't think he means the Israeli people or Israel as a nation. I think it's whatever corruption is in Israel, whatever City of London deep state connections are in Israel, that's what will be exposed, and Israel will end up safer in better hands than it's ever been. As for Netanyahu, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. I think the jury's out on that one. I think some people are way too quick to say he's everything evil, and I think others are way too quick to say he's a perfect, great, wonderful leader. I think, honestly, no one knows 100%, except those maybe close to him. But from here, you got to understand, we get fake reports, we get lied to, and we all have lenses we see through. So I'm just going to continue to trust Trump on this one because I think it's really important. So, and now with all this unraveling at the G7, here's Trump talking about hopefully getting close to bringing to the end of Russia-Ukraine, which a lot of us have been saying, believing, I'm one of them, that Russia-Ukraine could end quickly once Iran is settled.
Very good conversation yesterday with President Zelensky and President Putin, and I see maybe we can do something there. I really do. I think they're both open to it. So now that this is finished, we're going to be focusing on that, see if we can get that one done. 25,000 people a month are dying, mostly soldiers, and that shouldn't happen. But had two very good conversations yesterday. We'll be talking about it. And we had a really exciting, I think maybe one of the most incredible evenings in the history of the White House. So we had an evening last night with the fighters, and I was very happy. I called last night, very late last night, to congratulate you.
So Macron, after this meeting, came out and in a story to, the New York Post is where I saw it, said that the meeting with Trump was very difficult. That's the part that's behind the scenes. Why was it difficult? Because Ukraine. And that was specifically mentioned. Trump, you better believe now that he's at the G7, which, by the way, let's talk about the timing again here. Trump, on his birthday, on Flag Day, gets the Iran war ended, the MOU signed electronically. Now we're moving forward, has UFC 250 freedom at the White House. Unbelievably successful event, all kinds of amazing things surrounding that. You guys can watch my video on that one, which UFC did take down at first because of my clips. So I had to really tighten it up in order to repost it. But, I love the UFC, but they are really strict on copyright stuff. Anyways, the other timing that's amazing is Trump finishes all this and goes immediately to the G7, where he's meeting with all these European nations, Russia, China, talking to Zelensky. Crazy timing. Because now, think of the leverage he has going in there now. And you better believe, we have the reports, Macron coming out, difficult meetings. Yeah, you think so? I have a feeling Trump behind the scenes is telling all of them, you guys knock it out with Ukraine. We're done. He's telling all the European leaders, it's over. Stop it. They're behind the scenes, guys. I really believe they're getting chewed out. Trump is throwing down the hammer. You guys didn't think I could pull off Iran? Checkmate. And we'll see what comes out of this. But wherever you stand on it, there's no denying at this point that the world order is shifting right before our very eyes. And going back to what Tom said, I think that things are going to be much, much better very soon and for a much longer time.